Hello and welcome! Today we're going to be ranking my top 25 favorite book series ever. As a disclaimer, I love all of these books, so even the ones at the bottom of the tier, I still love them. Here's our top of the top, pretty darn perfect, amazing, great, and maybe could have been a little bit better. A Court of Thorns and Roses. This has to be top of the top. I just read this book series. It's phenomenal. I have a video coming out about it soon. This book series, if book series could be your soulmate, this one is my soulmate. I love everything about it. I love all of the characters. I love the plot. I just love it. I love the way it's written. Every single thing about this series is perfect. Can't say enough good things about it. Next up we have The Darkest Powers by Kelly Armstrong. These books are amazing. I just got a signed copy the other day and I cried. I read them all the time. They're just so well done. Next up we have Penelope. This is not a series as far as I know, but I love the movie. I love the book Penelope. I used to read it all the time when I was in middle school and high school. I'm going to put it in amazing. Twilight. Twilight has to be top of the top. I've read this book series more than any other book series I've ever read. It's amazing. Now that I'm a little bit older and I've read it so much, I think I'm a little bit less into it than I used to be, but I still love it so much and it's near and dear to my heart, so it has to be top of the top. Hope Was Here by Joan Bauer. This book is really good. I'm going to put it in amazing. Again, it's another standalone book, but it's heart-wrenching and it's sweet and the message in it is just so good and I highly recommend it. I don't feel like a lot of people haven't read it, but it's really, really good. If you want to read it, I would suggest doing it. City of Bones was the first series by Cassandra Clare that I read. I loved Jace. To this day, I really love Alec and Magnus, Isabel, Simon. I love the whole crew. Having said that, I did reread it while in quarantine, and I found it wasn't as compelling, especially City of Lost Souls, in particular, wasn't as compelling as I remember it being. But I'm going to put it in pretty darn perfect because the last book in the series, City of Heavenly Fire, is amazing. I cry every time I read it. Next up we have To All the Boys I've Loved Before. I didn't read these books until after I saw the Netflix movie, which I love because of No Centineo. But anyway, that's another talk for another day. I've only read through them once. I read through them 2 Christmases ago. Yeah, 2 Christmases ago. And I love them. They're really, really good. Probably a lighter read than some the hardcore fantasy I read, but I really like it. I'm going to put it in amazing. The Darkest Powers trilogy. Alexandra Bracken has a gift for sculpting characters. Liam in the series is, he's a babe, but he's also just amazingly well thought out, well fleshed out character. I love him. One thing I will say is sometimes these books are a little bit slower for me because they're just very plot based. So I'm going to put it in amazing. Next up is Harry Potter. I'm going to put it in pretty darn perfect. I haven't read it lately, but it's Harry Potter, so. Next up, Sisters Grimm. Well, first of all, I'm putting it in pretty darn perfect because it is. The Sisters Grimm series is amazing. I love it. I love how it's based off of fairy tales. I love the character Puck. I love him. I know he's a kid, but when I was a kid, I loved him. This book series is amazing. I just reread it while in quarantine, and I was shook by how good it was. I was literally shook by how well written and cute and funny and sad and heartfelt. They're just amazing books for any age group, really. Next up, we have After. I'm going to put this in Could Have Been Better. I didn't read After until I saw the movie, and then I read the whole series. When I was reading it, I really liked it. The relationship that Hardin has with his family and with Tessa, it's really interesting. However, I felt like there wasn't really a plot other than the romantic plot, and because of that I found it to be somewhat lacking. So I'm going to say it could have been better just for those reasons. The Host by Stephanie Meyer. The Host is literally amazing. I didn't read it for so many years because I was like, it's not Twilight, but I don't want to say it's better than Twilight, but it's really up there with Twilight. The characters are so sweet, and the message about accepting other people and kindness and willingness of the human spirit to endure. When Stephanie Meyer said she had an announcement, and then she said it was Midnight Sun, I was really excited that it was Midnight Sun, but I was also a little disappointed because I was really hoping it'd be The Host. Because she said like 10 years ago that it was going to be a trilogy, and we still to this day only have one of the books. So it's upsetting, but anyway. Back to what I was saying, I'm going to put it in top of the tier. After that, we have The Outsiders. I have to put it in amazing for two reasons. The first reason is that it's an amazing book. The second reason is that it's often credited as one of the first YA, like official YA books. So for that reason alone, it has to have a place of honor. I met S.E. Hinton a couple years ago, and it was like the highlight of my life. Next up, we have The Hunger Games. I'm going to put it in pretty darn perfect. I love The Hunger Games, and now that I'm older, like, I get more out of it than I used to. I love Peeta, I love Finnick, I love the message in the books, I love everything about them. I love The Hunger Games. I would watch the movies any day of the week. Well, I'd watch Catching Fire any day of the week. Bras and Broomsticks. This is from Sarah Mlynowski's Magic in Manhattan. There are 4 books in the series. This, when I was in elementary school and middle school, these were my favorite books ever. I loved them. My copies are so well used. They're like ripped and fraying, and I love these books. But I tried to get back into it during quarantine. I just found myself annoyed with how whiny Rachel is and how she doesn't appreciate her family, and it was just like super hard to read, so I had to like stop. I had to stop reading it. So for that reason, I'm just going to put it in only great. I'm going to put Geek Charming by Robin Palmer in the amazing category. So Robin Palmer wrote a bunch of books about these princesses who go to school in Beverly Hills, and Geek Charming and Cinderella are the best two. Like, they're amazing. There are a couple more, but I didn't like them as much. But Geek Charming in particular is really, really good. It'd probably go higher on my list, except the other books in the series I don't like quite as much, so I'm just going to put it at amazing. Also, the Disney version is also really good. Like, Sarah Hyland kills it as Dylan. Next up, we have Divergent, which I read maybe 6 or 7 Christmases ago in one night. It's good, but it's just something is missing from taking it to the next level, I feel like. And the last book is just not good. So for these reasons, I'm going to put it in could have been better. But I do love the movies. I love the books. The first book. I also love the 4 companion pack, Infernal Devices by Cassandra Clare. Automatically top of the top. These books are amazing. The character development in these books is out of this world. It's insane. I love that it's in London. I love that it's, you know, set in the past. Like, I love the other literature, like, that comes up in quotes. I love Tessa. I love every single thing about it. They're so good. Next up is Cassandra Clare's other series, The Last Hours. Well, only the first book is out in this series, Chain of Gold, but it was really good. Like, really, 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 really good. Phenomenal, actually. So I gotta put it in my top of the top, not even having read the other books. I love Julian Blackthorne. Cassandra Clare's ability to take these family bloodlines and weave them through the ages and develop these characters that are like ones we know and love, but they're each their own person. Like, it's just amazing. It's so good. I'm so excited for the next book to come out. They're so good. Also, while we're talking about Cassandra Clare, I think you'll notice that I did not include the Artifices, whatever. I didn't include, like, Queen of Air and Darkness. I didn't include that series because I hated it. I know that's controversial, but I literally hated it. I straight up hated it. I'm so sorry, but it wasn't for me. The last book was better, but the first 2 were so bad. Like, they were just not for me. I especially didn't like Julian. I'm so sorry. I know people love Julian, but I especially did not like Julian. Maybe I'll do a separate video about it, but those books are not for me. They are not in my top 25. Anyway, moving on. Next up, we have Simon versus the Homo Sapien Agenda. I'm going to put this one in amazing. I love this book. I know there are other books in the series. I just didn't really like her as a character, so I haven't read those other books, but I do love Simon the movie, and I love Simon versus the Homo Sapien Agenda, so I'm going to put it in amazing. Alright, next up we have Mysterious Benedict Society. Okay, Mysterious Benedict Society is so cleverly written. It was kind of challenging when I read it. I think I read it in 5th grade. It was kind of like presented a challenge, and it's just, they're really cute books. I love them. They don't get talked about enough. But Hulu, I believe, is doing an adaptation, so I have high hopes that people will read the books. Lux series by Jennifer L. Armentrout. These books, I got them as a gift in high school, junior year, and I read them. They were okay. I didn't love them, but they were okay. I just reread them like a couple months ago. They're phenomenal. So I don't know what was up with me in high school, but me now appreciates them for what they are. The idea that aliens are light is just so cool and so smart. And I love Dee. I love Damon. I love their whole family. I love them. I don't know what I didn't see before. Oh, and Archer. I love the origins. Like, it's just a really good series. Next up, we have Maximum Ride. I read these in middle school. I like them, but I don't love them. You know, like when I was reading them, I loved them, but now that some time has passed, I'm like, they're okay. Next up is The Princess Diaries. I'm going to put this in amazing. The Princess Diaries series does not get enough credit. They are funny and heartfelt and cute, and when you're going through your teenage years, you need someone like Mia Thermopolis. Like, you need these books. I think more people should read them. Especially the last one in the main series before you get to like her more like adult novel. It's just so good. Like her prom and Michael, and it's just phenomenal. And then the last book we're going to talk about today is called Every Soul a Star by Wendy Moss. I'm going to put this one in great. I loved this book when I was younger. It was amazing. I haven't read it in a couple years. Maybe if I was to read it again, I'd rank it a little bit higher, but it's just a really, really good book. The whole stars thing, it's the story of 3 different people like intertwined. I love how the narration flips back and forth. It's just very well done. Alright, so this is my final list. Let me know what you think. Do you agree? Disagree? Do you read the same books as me? Let me know your thoughts. Sound off in the comments. It would be really cool if you would like or subscribe or comment or even just share this video with a friend. I hope you like it. Okay, thank you for watching. New videos coming soon. I'm going to try to post new videos on Tuesdays, so we'll see how that goes. But keep an eye out for them. Okay, bye!